Good morning. I'd like to welcome and thank each of you for coming this year to the annual Charles Whistler Awards Breakfast. I'm Jeff Gaither. I'm the chairman of the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee. We'd like to first recognize some of our elected officials here today. We have Congresswoman Susan Brooks, Mayor Joe Hogsett, Deputy Mayor Angela Smith-Jones, Deputy Mayor Jeff Bennett, Deputy Mayor Dr. David Hampton, Councilor Maggie Lewis, Councilor Blake Johnson, Councilor Jeff Miller, and Chief Ernie Malone. Also here is Brandon Heggert with Senator Donnelly's office. I'd like to first thank and to recognize the members of the Whistler Awards Committee. These are the folks that nominated this year's award winners and spent a good deal of time in the process of putting on this event. So the chair is Murray Clark, along with Deborah Daniels, Lisa Diedrich, Toby McClamrock, Greg Schenkel, and Yvonne Shaheen. So thanks to each of you for what you did. I'd also like to recognize and thank Beth White, Gypsy's executive director, for all the service and leadership she's provided both with this event and throughout the year. And a special thanks to Faegre, Baker, and Daniels. Charles Whistler was a longtime partner of what was then known as Baker and Daniels. And Baker and Daniels, now Faegre, Baker and Daniels, has been instrumental in being the title sponsor this year and many other years in recognition of Mr. Whistler's great service to our community and his longtime membership of the firm. So thank you very much, Faegre, Baker, and Daniels. A special thanks to Mel Raines. She is a Gypsy Executive Committee member, and to the Pacers Sports and Entertainment Enterprise for their hospitality and hosting us this morning. This is a great site. Very much appreciate what Mel and the Pacer organization have done. So thank you then. And thanks also to our other sponsors, the Lumina Foundation in honor of John Mutz, the Pacer organization again, Yvonne Shaheen, and Eli Lilly and Company. It's now my great honor to introduce for our invocation Joseph Cardinal Tobin, Archbishop of the Indianapolis and now Newark Archdiocese. Cardinal Tobin.
Loving God, we thank you for all of the gifts in our lives. We thank you for our life and for this day to live. We thank you for those whom we love and those who love us. We thank you for the opportunity to leave this world a better place than we found it. And at this time of the year, when light becomes a precious commodity, we give thanks for those whose lives light the way to you. We thank you in a particular way this morning for John and Sarah Lechleiter. We thank you for their unselfish service and their generous gifts that they've laid at the service of your community, especially of those most in need. We ask you to let us learn from them and bless them. Bless us in the food that we will share, and one day bring us to feast with you forever in paradise. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Cardinal. We're now going to have breakfast. I hope you all enjoy it, and we'll get on with the program after you've had a chance to have a little breakfast.
Since its establishment in 1965, the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee, GYPSY, has been the driving force behind the public-private partnerships that transformed Indianapolis into a world-class city. Early projects included development of Eagle Creek Park and the Downtown Convention Center, as well as the groundbreaking passage of unified city-county government known as Unigov. At the forefront of these accomplishments were Gypsy's early leaders, including attorney Charles L. Whistler. A native Hoosier, Whistler spent his entire career with the law firm now known as Faegre Baker Daniels. Throughout that career, Whistler generously volunteered his time and considerable talent to assist in improving Indianapolis.
Chuck was a great guy. He came off the farm, out of the farmland, so he understood working for the future, taking care of seed corn, building things, great work ethic, cared about others, saw solutions, understood problems and issues, but always was in the effort to try to build the solution, create the solution.
The Progress Committee came along with at least the thrusts of leadership of some civic persons. Now, Chuck Whistler was among the group, but he became especially important because his legal skills led to the drafting, as I recall, of most of the legislation that we finally offered during the General Assembly of 1969.
As Chuck Whistler was assisting in the transformation of the city, the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee was gaining momentum as a bipartisan alliance of community leaders dedicated to improvement of the city. Today, Gypsy continues its role as a convener of thought, dialogue, and action aimed at improving Indianapolis and enhancing its image. With more than 100 members, Gypsy remains the driving force behind efforts that have made Indianapolis a world-class city. From improved race relations, to cultural and arts programs, to the new Eskenazi Hospital on the Wishart campus.
The Progress Committee has really covered the entire waterfront, I think, in terms of the development of Indianapolis. At the beginning, it was really the very structure of government. But for Gypsy, there wouldn't have been Unigov. Then we got into a bricks and mortar phase, which we've really continued over the years, extending from the convention center to most recently our advocacy for the building of a new hospital for the most needy of our community.
That has been the value of the Progress Committee and its leadership over the years, is to look at these community-wide issues with its broad-based membership and figure out the best way to get things resolved. That's what Chuck Whistler was all about. That's what the Progress Committee is all about.
In honor of Chuck Whistler's legacy, Gypsy leaders presented the first annual Charles L. Whistler Award in 1983. Today, the Whistler Award is the highest honor that can be bestowed on a citizen who has brought together Indianapolis's public and private sectors for city improvement.
When you receive an award from somebody who helped shape your life, it becomes very, very special. And Chuck Whistler was special to me, and winning the award made it even more special.
The award extends the recognition of the importance of the work that it represents, the importance of people trying to do leadership work that serves the best interests of the broader community, that takes on the challenges that need to be assumed, that provides imaginative and creative thought to the solutions of those problems. Chuck did all that, and it extends the recognition of the importance of that. And then obviously the anchor to it is the public-private nature of the recognition of the award. People working across sectors of the community to try to make things better for everybody.
The name of each recipient of the Whistler Award is engraved on a bronze and granite monument located in the Charles L. Whistler Memorial Plaza outside the city market. As Indianapolis continues to develop, the Greater Indianapolis Progress Committee looks forward to presenting the Charles L. Whistler Award to those individuals who follow in Chuck Whistler's footsteps as servant leaders, inspiring others to dedicate their time and talents to the success of this great city.
Sarah and John are true partners in everything that they do. They bring different thoughts and priorities and skills to their work, but they genuinely care about the community and its future They're everywhere in our community. They are supportive of almost every major asset that this city has to offer. So whether it's the symphony or whether it's supporting children in our community getting a quality education, they are there as active supporters of these assets of our community, which really has an impact on our ability to grow as a community.
I think of the phrase servant leader, right? I mean, where they take the power that they have from the job they're in, and they leverage that power for the good of the community. John lends his name to a lot of initiatives, and people don't really understand how powerful and important that is. But maybe more valuable for me is John lends his time and his energy. And that's what drives a difference when John's involved.
When I was thinking about this award and what a deserving recipient that John and Sarah are, I was thinking about all my interactions with John where I either asked him to do something when I was mayor or saw him be asked by somebody else while I was working here at Lilly, or saw him become aware of a problem by hearing about it from somebody else or learning about it in the newspaper. In every one of those occasions, I could just see the wheels turning. It's always like, is there something that I can do or that Lilly can do to help? If it's a problem, if it's a need, if it's an opportunity in the city of Indianapolis, his mind goes right to what could I do, what could Sarah do, what could our company do to help Indianapolis. It's sort of almost a immediate instinctive reaction.
They're so remarkable, such a great pair, a great team. They share their incredible passion and love for Indianapolis. They've been a terrific team leading Eli Lilly and Company, and to have leaders at the top of the company like John and Sarah, so inspiring for other young people to want to come here, and yet they've had this tremendous understanding that a good piece of the success of Lilly's ability to attract talent is to attract them to a city that is exciting and dynamic and prosperous and fun and broad-based and welcoming and inclusive. And together they've been extraordinary in causing all of this to happen.
When I think about what John and Sarah have done for this community, I really think of two different things, really. I think, of course, John's role in leading Eli Lilly, but of course, personally, they are both so committed to so many different organizations. Sarah has served on the ISO board for many years, and I know John also contributes to so many organizations around town, and they've really made an impact on this community in so many ways. They've been particularly supportive of the ISO's Metropolitan Youth Orchestra program. This is a program that serves over 220 children and families, many from the urban core of Indianapolis. It's a youth and family development program, and this past year we celebrated the 20th anniversary of MYO. Sarah served on our leadership committee to support that anniversary initiative. They hosted an event in their home. They helped raise significant funds. In fact, made a challenge grant, and together they helped lead a fundraising effort that raised over $140,000 to support this incredible program, and we're so grateful to them for doing that.
When we launched the early childhood work, and John made the decision to put the full resources of Lilly behind the early childhood effort. He stood up in front of a crowd of business leaders and said, it is time for us to stop talking and to start acting to solve this problem. And he provided incredible leadership. That was the point at which he basically said that Lilly would raise $10 million in corporate money to support that effort, and that Lilly would lead with $2 million. So that was an incredible moment of leadership. With Sarah, her leadership in taking a group of women over to the State House when we were looking for increased funding for 211 was amazing. So she and these 40 women were over at the State House talking to legislators about making that happen, and they made it happen.
And by the way, they're just regular people. They're fun to be with. They're nice to everyone. There is no big shot-itis in the Lechleiter family. And they've given the city a wonderful family, by the way. Their kids are terrific, and their kids sort of carry on this legacy of being good citizens and doing more than their share.
They are so committed to everything that they do. They've been so committed to the ISO and to me personally, whether it's from supporting events, coming to concerts, answering questions about leadership or challenges we have in the organization. They are so committed to what they do, and that infuses our institution with that kind of love of community and love of place that is really just unique, and we're so grateful to have them in our community.
You know, they are very accomplished people. And there are a lot of places and a lot of opportunities for them nationally and internationally to be expending their energy. And I feel very fortunate that they have chosen to keep the bulk of their efforts local, and that they're really willing to roll up their sleeves and work with us. It's not unusual to see Sarah walking into the building at 8 o'clock in the morning to have a meeting with staff.
I know they love the symphony and the Pacers and the Colts and the art museum, and this one thing after another that made their life rich, and they've been very generous. They're part of they are a part of the fabric of this community, and that's extraordinary, and I don't think that will change.
And through the history of Indianapolis since I've been here, there's always been 2 or 3 leaders who step up when somebody retires or they lessen their involvement. I think you can give John and Sarah credit for the other senior leaders that they develop up under them, who will continue to carry that flag and will continue to contribute to making Indianapolis and really the state, a better place for us to live in.
For somebody who didn't know John and Sarah, and I had a chance to tell them only one thing, I would say they are 2 people who don't just love their community. They do love their community, but they don't just love it. They invest personally in it. They give of themselves entirely to it. And they have made this city a much better place. And that is something to be really proud of. It's quite a legacy.
Well, good morning. Let me begin by making one observation. I don't know who the mayor of this town is, but whoever he or she is needs to do something about traffic. You can't get down Meridian Street at 8 o'clock in the morning, so I intend to find out and call the mayor's action line. Welcome to all. Thank you for gathering as we do annually to bestow this important award. I would be remiss, however, if I did not acknowledge His Eminence. Rarely in the life of any city does one decision bring so much joy and so much pride to all peoples. The Pontiff's wise decision to elevate you to Cardinal reflects not only your personal preparedness, but it reflects on your unconditional love, your compassion, and your unending grace. We as a city, as a community of one people, are proud of you, and we are proud for you. We will miss you in body, but we also know that your spirit will remain a very real presence here. May God bless you and keep you now and the days to come. So the story goes, when Eli Lilly turned over the management of the company to his son in order to devote more time to our community's charitable and civic organizations, he referred to his time as retirement, always in quotations. It was in retirement that Colonel Lilly helped found the Commercial Club, the forerunner of the Indy Chamber of Commerce, a leader in the development of our business community. It was in retirement that he personally funded a children's hospital. It was in retirement that Colonel Lilly set up shelters and food banks to help those affected by the panic of 1893. Retirement. This year marks a turning point for our honorees today. After more than 8 years, John will leave as CEO. They collectively, Sarah and John, will be leaving Eli Lilly. And I can't help but think, when you look at the incredible impact that we just viewed on the screen that Sarah and John have had on this community while juggling the responsibilities of parenthood and careers, that it's safe to say that retirement will be more like retirement for the Lechleiters. Sarah and John have been deeply engaged in Indianapolis for decades, and their efforts, as was noted, have strengthened the very fiber of our community. As Sarah serves on the board of the Indianapolis Symphony Orchestra and the board of the Indiana Repertory Theater, she also chairs the United Way of Central Indiana's Women of Tocqueville. Sarah was a founding member and served as chair for what is now UWCI's Women United. She also is a sustaining member of the Children's Museum Guild, the St. Augustine Guild of the Little Sisters of the Poor, and the Proctor Club. Sarah has been a community activist, a passionate advocate for important causes, and an exemplary mother to her wonderful family. All the while, John has just served as President and Chief Executive Officer of Eli Lilly since April of 2008 and board chair since 2009. Thanks to John's leadership, Eli Lilly is better equipped to face the challenges in front of it, in front of them. The foundation John has laid for this great global company assures us that new life-saving treatments will one day be within reach, including Alzheimer's, the 6th leading cause of death in our country, yet the only one that is entirely unpreventable and incurable. As a caregiver, who experienced this disease coming after my grandmother and after my mother, I am incredibly thankful to you John and Sarah, for your commitment, your steadfast commitment to finding a cure. In addition to their individual accomplishments, Sarah and John have shown the incredible impact that they can have and that we can have, all of us, when working in unison. Sarah gives tirelessly as a volunteer leader, while John has rallied our corporate community, encouraging bold action and true community engagement. Nowhere is this sort of collective impact more evident than in this year's announcement of a $5 million gift by the Lechleiters to support the expansion of high-quality early childhood education and the Center for Working Families Network in Central Indiana. Take a moment to think about this. Children not yet born will have a better future because of John and Sarah Lechleiter. And if that wasn't enough, Eli Lilly and Company Foundation announced their intention to match John and Sarah's donation, increasing the total gift to $10 million. Still, the full impact of the Lechleiters' commitment and generosity has yet to be seen. In order to encourage others to join them in contributing to the United Way, a portion of Sarah and John's gift will be designated as a challenge grant to motivate new or increased leadership level gifts from those of us who are community leaders. It's this sort of vision, this sort of long-term philanthropic planning and coalition building that brings us here today. Today we honor Sarah and John with an award named after another transformative Indianapolis leader. Charles Whistler was talented and energetic, helping to shape the Indianapolis of today, culturally, geographically, politically. He loved our city, aided in the modernization and beautification of downtown Indianapolis, the creation of the city center on Monument Circle, the adaptive reuse of the Indiana Theater, the downtown retailing mall concept, and the planning of the White River State Park. After his passing, Gypsy instituted the Charles L. Whistler Award, the most prestigious award given annually to a community volunteer. Whistler, like Sarah and John Lechleiter, brought together the public and the private sectors for civic improvement and worked not just for our city's present, but for our city's future. That is why it is indeed an honor as mayor to introduce Sarah and John Lechleiter to you as this year's recipient of our city's highest award. Sarah and John, would you please join me on the stage, and let's give them a round of applause. I hope I didn't go on too long. Congratulations. Thanks, Mayor. You're a tough act to follow. Thank you. Very, very thank you so much. Truly, for all that you've done. Thank you.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Mayor, very, very much for those kind words, and thanks to all of you for being here this morning. Sarah and I are very, very honored to receive this award in memory of the visionary leadership of Charles Whistler and to be associated with so many of you who are likewise great civic leaders, including many in this room who have received this award in the past. Sarah and I have been the proud recipients of other honors, and we have a routine. We have to decide who's going to speak, and we flip a coin. But I found out the other night that this coin Sarah's been using has two heads on it. I drew the short straw. Well, Indy's been our home now for 37 years. Sarah and I have raised our family here. They're all back, proud to be Hoosiers, proud to be citizens of this city. We both truly do love Indianapolis, and we're so proud of the growth that we've seen here over the last 4 decades. It goes without saying, you know, the old expression, we stand on the shoulders of giants. And I was reflecting this morning as I looked through the booklet at the past award recipients, how many of those individuals have been influential for each of us. People like Tom Binford, Andy Payne, Bill Mays, Joe Barnett, John Mutz, Yvonne Shaheen, and many more, several of whom I remember meeting in the 1980s when I was a young pup here and still fairly new to the community, and marveling at the level of civic engagement and the way in which those individuals brought people together across party lines, across demographic lines, social economic lines, to work together for the betterment of our community. We're so fortunate here to have had role models like that, and we both hope that we can be someone's role model also in the course of time. I'm especially proud, coming from Lilly, or I guess soon leaving Lilly, of our city's emergence as the center of Indiana's life sciences hub. Today, believe it or not, Indiana is the second largest exporter of life sciences products among all 50 states. The city also ranked high in a recent Brookings Institution study that looked more broadly at what it called advanced industries, including life sciences, but also fields like computer systems design, industries that invest heavily in technology innovation and employ a workforce highly skilled in the STEM, so-called STEM disciplines. We tend to be surprised by these rankings. I think maybe we have a self-esteem gap at some level here in central Indiana that always makes these kinds of statistics seem so surprising. Still, we know that we face some serious challenges as a community, none more important than education. This is where Sarah and I share a common passion. The fact is that many children in this city, especially children who, through no fault of their own, are growing up in poverty, have great difficulty gaining access to some of the most basic skills necessary to succeed in life. Given what's at stake for our city and our region, Sarah and I believe it's essential that we sustain the kind of collaboration that is the legacy of Charles Whistler and so many others in this community. Indeed, we urge even greater cooperation between our business community, government, the academic sector, and our strong not-for-profit sector here in central Indiana. We've certainly seen this kind of collaboration, which was alluded to in the video, in launching the Indianapolis Early Childhood Education Program to provide high-quality pre-K opportunities for low-income kids in Indianapolis. Many of us are currently engaged in a united effort calling on state policymakers to take the next step in expanding pre-K to help meet Indiana's significant unmet demand. And we need a similar collaboration to address the serious STEM skills gap in our schools so that all children in this community can succeed in the high-tech economy that we're building. Addressing these issues and others that will come before us will take a relentless effort across all sectors of our community. Will take the kind of partnerships for which we honor Charles Whistler in order to keep Central Indiana a vital, viable, and forward-looking place. As I like to say, competitive with the best and compassionate to the core. Sarah and I are pleased and proud to be given this honor today. As I prepare to retire from Eli Lilly later this year, I'd like to thank my Lilly colleagues in particular, including people like Rob Smith, the president of the Eli Lilly and Company Foundation, and Mike O'Connor, corporate affairs leader and community leader extraordinaire, for the work that they've done to enable me to be effective and Sarah and I to be effective in doing many of the things that we do here in the community. I'm pleased to say we intend to stay here in this community following my retirement from Lilly next month. I don't know what retirement is going to look like. It's a risk I'm willing to take at this point, but we'll stay active here in the community. We look forward to working with all of you to make our city better and better in the years to come. Thanks to you all for bestowing this award on us today. Best wishes for the holidays.